live. Am I live, everybody? How do I know? Hey, there we go. There we go. I am now in theory live. Hey folks, sorry I'm a little bit late, but yeah, I've been reading up a news article about Subway, and that's kind of concerning. Moving on though. Let's quickly swap over to the view that shows us what we're looking at today. If I hit this one, there we go. Now you can see the Ass Kickin brand honey peanuts, which I've got a little close-up of view of down here. So this first one is their Chipotle and honey peanuts, which is peanuts roasted in peanut oil, sugar, honey, and salt. Oh, and modified potato starch, Chipotle seasoning, which contains honey powder, high fructose corn syrup, soy flour, spice, paprika, and natural smoke flavour. And finally, Keltrol. I should probably look this up ahead of time, because I have no idea what Keltrol is. Oh yeah, that's what the seal looks like inside. Comes with your classic desiccant pack to keep them nice and dry, and then you can get a good look there. Well, you can get a bit of a look there. And then I'll pop them over here again, so you can look at the packaging. As I help myself. And the first thing I've noticed is how salty, toasted, and not very sweet these are. Not nearly as sugary as I expected for something that's honey roasted. Quite surprised that. Heat-wise, these Chipotle ones don't have a ton to them. There's a little hint of something in the tail, but yeah, I'm going to say that's a decent one. Actually, that's picking up a little bit. Yeah, any hotter one I'd call is a 1.5, but I think they warrant a 1. They're not very strong, but they do have a little bit of honey flavour to them, and they're nice, salted, somewhat smoky nuts. So, not quite what I was expecting, but really quite nice. And I would have more, except I promised my dad he could have a bunch when I was done. Then we have the habanero honey peanuts, which should have rather more of a kick. These ones, let's see what they have ingredients-wise. Peanuts roasted in peanut oil, sugar, honey, salt, modified potato starch, habanero pepper, and Keltrol. So, less of a seasoning, more just of the straight pepper. Same seal, same desiccant packet. And from the art, it appears to be red habanero, but we shall see if it tastes like red habanero. Yeah, I'd say that's red habanero. Actually quite similar to what you get labelled as Scotch bonnets in supermarkets. And again, it goes quite nicely with that slight honey flavour to these, and that slight bit of sweetness. But they're still mostly salted, mostly roasted tasting. More peanut forward than chili forward, I think. Even if they do have rather more of a full-bodied, I'd say high 3 kind of warmth. Still nothing crazy, but a good deal hotter than the Chipotle ones. So let's move on then to the ghost pepper. Contents for these are peanuts roasted in peanut oil, sugar, honey, salt, modified potato starch, ghost pepper, and xanthan gum. So none of the Keltrol this time, but they've added xanthan gum, which is curious. I don't know why you'd add xanthan gum to peanuts. Because it's not like they've got liquid and non-liquid components that need fusing together. It's not like there's anything that needs thickening in a peanut. I don't fully understand that, but they do have a recipe on the back, or at least as much as you can call it a recipe, because it uses a pre-made brownie mix, for ghost pepper honey peanut brownies. Which I reckon, make a proper version of them from scratch, and that's going to be gorgeous. But I don't know if I'd use a brownie mix for them. Speaking of which, they suggest granola for the habanero ones, and peanut brittle for the chipotle. All of which do sound like good ideas. I feel like I'm getting a tiny bit of sweetness with each one. So a tiny bit more sweetness with each one. Heat on these is quite late. I'll let you know how strong I think it is in a moment, once I've had a few more. Yeah, very late, very slow. Not as hot as some of the other ghost pepper nuts I've had, but I'd still say that feels like you've consumed something that's at least a 4 out of 10. Even if it does take a while to really feel it. And those are probably my favourite of the bunch so far. But now let's try the hottest. Because I do also have some Carolina Reaper ones. which certainly should be the strongest of the bunch. So, what are they saying? They're suggesting peanut brittle with these as well. And they're peanuts roasted in peanut oil, sugar, honey, salt, modified potato starch, Carolina Reaper pepper, and xanthan gum. So, same recipe as the ghost pepper ones, but with a rather more powerful pepper. Again, I don't get why there's xanthan gum in here, but oh, and the wrinkles come off. Fortunately, there was enough that I could grip onto the lid of the can. But yeah, same again. They all look roughly the same. You don't see too much of the pepper in them. But there you go, on the nice big camera. Well, on the nice zoomed in camera. Whole bunch of them. Okay, I said each one was a bit more sweet than the last, but this one I think the Reaper's counteracting the sweetness. Because these and the Chipotle were the least sweet of the bunch. And like the Ghost, the heat's slow, but I'm starting to feel it already. We'll see how high it gets. So it's interesting, it's got that same growing warmth as the Ghost, as I was saying, but it also stings around the tip of the tongue. So you know it's Reaper. I don't think it's that crazy strong. I'm leaning towards maybe a 5.5, a 6. Yeah, maybe a 6 actually at this point. But, oh, 1 second, sorry. Sorry about that. Right. I'm afraid I don't remember what I was saying, but I mean, there's a hot. They definitely have a pleasant heat to them, but I mean, I've had far hotter Reaper nuts. 1 second again. Oh, apparently I'm getting comments on my video, but just can't see them for some reason. Not sure why that's being the case. It looks like Facebook is messing with me. So I've got 26 comments on the actual post of the video, and only shows me 4 of them there and none of them in the actual live. So something's going very wrong in that regard. I would like to be able to see my comments, Facebook, so I can probably interact with people. If anyone knows how to fix it, I guess, at me in the comments on the post, and maybe I'll see it, maybe I won't. I don't know. Glad you appreciate the 2-camera setup, Adele. So I have had the Psycho Nuts. The Psycho Nuts are ghost pepper. I will say, these ghost pepper ones, they're more salted than the Psycho Nuts. They're a little bit sweeter than the Psycho Nuts, but the Psycho Nuts are hotter and they have more of a spice blend on them. The Reaper ones, a little bit hotter than the Psycho Nuts, but not vastly so, to be honest. And again, a bit more salted, but they don't have the spice blend. They don't have nearly as much sweetness as the other 3 from these people. And yeah, I feel like, compared to various other nuts I've had, these ones, they're better salted. The honey is there, which is nice, though it could still use a little bit more. But you don't really taste the pepper that much. They're just pleasant, hot peanuts. As you've seen, these Reaper ones, they're definitely hotter than ghost pepper nuts, but not by a vast amount. Wouldn't want to eat them on an empty stomach, but as is, I can just munch away at these fairly happily. Oh, apparently I've got 32 comments now. Let's see if I can see any of them yet. So Stu's saying I was quiet when they mentioned the Tube of Terror. Yeah, I did actually manage to catch that at one point. You mentioned the Tube of Terror, but only as I was responding to other people. I'm not doing the Tube of Terror. I've had the Death Nuts. I know what that last nut's like. I'm not doing a full tube of that. That would be stupid. I know I'm not capable of doing that. Hey Phil, managed to see you saying hi. Sorry, Stu, but just I'm well aware the Tube of Terror is well out of my league, and I don't feel the need to make myself suffer like that. If the rest of you think you can handle it, then by all means go ahead, but it's not for me. Never has been, almost certainly never will be. Should probably mention, by the way, was weirded out by the xanthan gum in the ingredients list in these, and still kind of am. But I've had things that have used way too much xanthan gum in the past, and it turns them all weird and gummy and kind of jellied. These do not have that consistency to them at all. These, I mean, they feel like nuts with powder on them. Because they are. So, the xanthan gum's not hurting them in any way. I just don't see what it's doing to help them either. Oh, I should probably show you. There's a bit of powder in the bottom of that. Decent amount, actually. Let's show you it on the close-up cam. Don't know if that's focused or not, because I can't see it and see the comments at the same time, because Facebook's being weird. But, yeah. That's the end of that. I wanted to see if I could, and I absolutely could. They were quite edible, those Reaper ones. And yeah, if you want a slight step up from the Psycho Nuts with a bit more salt to them, those are pretty pleasant. But at the same time, if you want crazy stuff, Chili Wizards do an actual set of Reaper Nuts that feel like actual Reaper Nuts. And don't just have slightly more than a ghost pepper heat. So, I feel like there are better Reaper Nuts out there. The rest, again, they're all fairly pleasant, but I would like to taste the pepper a bit more. I get a bit of the ghost coming through in the ghost pepper one. I definitely get a bit of the Scotch bonnet hab mutt thing in the habanero ones. And there's definitely a little bit of extra smokiness to the chipotle ones, though I don't get enough for it to be specifically chipotle. Yeah, Chili Wizards Reaper Nuts are very good, but even when I've eaten, you don't want to eat a full bag of those. I don't want to eat a full bag of those. They don't sit too comfortably. So yeah, in that regard, these were a nice step down. But no. The Chili Wizard ones are good. These ones, they're not bad, but they don't have as much of the pepper flavour, and that's kind of a little disappointing. Still, if you're interested, these are made in the US, but you can get them imported. I believe I got these from Dr. Benorium's Hot Sauce Emporium, which some of you already mentioned in the comments, and a lot of you will know from... They do the Psycho gummy bears and stuff. And also the entire Psycho Juice range of sauces, which I know are quite popular. I'm pretty sure you can also get these from Hotheads though, if you'd prefer. So just whichever your favourite importer is, basically. If you want to pick these up. Huh. Yeah, when it comes to imports, Ass Kicking are a fairly ubiquitous brand, but I'd not seen their nuts before I got this sponge, so figured they were worth a try. I have also seen they do Ass Kicking hand sanitizer recently. I suspect it's not chili hand sanitizer, but I feel like it would be very funny if it was. Anyway, I think that's all for this. I've said everything I need to say, everything I want to say. Unless any of you have some last comments that I might happen to spot. No? Okay then. See you everyone.